A type of essay question that can come up in the METSEC English examination is that of the problem and solution essay. In this video, we will be looking at a sample question and a model answer. We will also look at different structures, namely two structures, that you can follow when you're writing this type of essay. And we will also look at some do's and don'ts. So, what you should do and what you should avoid doing when you're writing this type of essay, the problem and solution essay. An example title for this essay is the following: The internet has changed the way information is shared and consumed, but it has also created problems that did not exist before. What are the most serious problems associated with the internet, and what solutions can you suggest? Now let's start with the structure that you can follow. The first structure consists of 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph would be the introduction. The second paragraph would be the problem paragraph, where you will put down the problems that you envisage, that you think of, are related to the topic. The third paragraph would be the solution paragraph, where you will write down the suggested solutions for these problems. And the final paragraph would be the conclusion. Another way how to go about it would be, again, 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph is the introduction, but this time in the second paragraph we're going to write down the problem and its solution. In the third paragraph, again, we'll write the second problem and its solution. In the final paragraph, we would write the conclusion. For the sample essay that we're going to look at in this video, we will be following the first structure. So you have the introduction, the problem paragraph, the solution paragraph, and the conclusion. I'm going to start with the introduction. You will see the essay title again at the bottom of your screen. The ever-increasing growth in the use of the internet over the last decade has undeniably brought about radical changes to the way people use and share information. A lot of problems have emerged because of this, but there are also solutions. So basically, in the introduction, we are restating the idea or ideas that are presented in the title and what we understand by it. Now, there are some words in this paragraph which you might have found difficult, such as undeniably. That is an adverb which means undoubtedly, without doubt, definitely. Radical. That's an adjective which means drastic, big changes, major changes. Can you think of another word instead of a lot of? We could say several or various. Emerged. That's a verb. Another word for emerged could be appeared, or the phrasal verb come up, or arisen. Now let's think of the problem paragraph. When you are brainstorming ideas for the problem paragraph, think about what the problem is, how you will explain it, and what the effect is. And your paragraph will then follow this pattern. So let's try to think of a problem. Children and teenagers can have unfiltered access to content presented on the internet, including YouTube videos. So that's our problem. The explanation or the example. Some YouTube videos, although apparently the explanation or example. Some YouTube videos, although appealing to a generic audience, could include a lot of swearing or inappropriate behavior or language. The result? This could negatively impact how children grow and learn. Now let's put these together in a paragraph. One of the main problems of the internet is that children can have access to potentially dangerous sites. For example, despite having website content filtering by their guardians, children can still end up watching YouTube videos which include swearing or inappropriate language or behavior. Undoubtedly, this affects their thoughts and development, which is a negative impact for the children and perhaps even for society at large. So that was our first problem. Now we need to think of another problem. Plagiarism. Plagiarism of content and material put up on social media websites. Now you might be asking, but what is plagiarism? Plagiarism is basically when you see something that belongs to someone else, but you use it and you make it your own without giving credit to the original owner. So it's like taking something which is not yours and making it seem like it's yours. Now let's think of an example of how this could happen online. Plagiarism of photos or quotes and other content. And what is the result of this? It is difficult to claim ownership of content that you put online. For example, you take a photo of a place that you have visited and then you end up seeing that photo someplace else which you didn't know about. Let's put this in a paragraph. Another problem is the increasing plagiarism of content like photos and stories or quotes that are put up on social media sites. These days, many people share content online, but this is often shared by other users and sometimes downloaded and uploaded as if it is their own. Through circulation, eventually the original owner is sadly forgotten. Let's move on to the solutions paragraph. When you come to brainstorm your solutions, think of the key actors who are involved. In this case, we could think of parents or guardians, especially for the first problem, and perhaps the government and educators for the second problem. Try to make your solutions not too simplistic. So avoid making sweeping generalizations about what people can or should or must do. For example, parents should be stricter with their children. It is common to see such statements in solution essays with no further explanation, and this could show lack of thinking. So try to give more detail about how or why you think the solution you have come up with might actually work. For example, we could reword the above to the following. Guardians or parents should ensure that they monitor their children's tablets, smartphones, or laptops on a regular basis, perhaps through apps or software, or by physically checking their children's smartphones, especially if they are of a very young age. So some specific detail has now been given on how this solution could work. I'm going to move on to the second part of this paragraph, which is still paragraph 3, the solution paragraph. And note how it flows from the paragraph before, which is the problem paragraph, the second paragraph. It starts with a topic sentence that tells the reader the essay is moving on to the solutions. Crucially, action must be taken to combat, to fight, these problems. Guardians or parents should monitor their children's tablets, smartphones, or laptops on a regular basis, perhaps through apps or software, or by physically checking their children's smartphones, especially if they are of a very young age. Now we're going to introduce the second solution in the same paragraph. So we have one paragraph with two solutions. Apart from having stricter laws on plagiarism issues, educators may also have a role to play. They could make students, perhaps those at sixth form and university, more aware of what plagiarism is and how it can be avoided. The ideas presented in this essay are quite generic. There's not a lot of detail, so there's nothing out of this world. However, there is a sense of continuity, which is very important. And the ideas are essentially connected together with phrases like another problem, apart from this, crucially, and so on. Okay, we're not finished yet. What do we have to do now? So we had the introduction, we had the problem paragraph, the solution paragraph, and now we have to move on to the conclusion. As always, make sure that you end your essay with a proper conclusion and avoid adding new stuff at this stage. Basically, the conclusion will sum up your main idea or ideas presented in the essay. In conclusion, the internet is an astonishing technological innovation that has changed people's lives in so many ways, perhaps not always positively. However, with the right action by parents or guardians, educators, and the government, everyone could enjoy and make use of the great deal of information and content that is widely available on the internet. Now, we're going to move on to things that we should do and things that we should avoid when writing problem and solution essays. Very important, the first don't, and perhaps not the first don't of your day, don't state that there is no solution. Sometimes I read essays from students tackling this type of question and saying that they do not have a solution, or they have no idea of what the solution could be, or that they don't know if this problem could really be solved, because hey, it's a problem, right? Sometimes it is difficult to come up with what may be a good solution for the problem given, and especially with all the stress under examination conditions, you may feel that you cannot think of any clever solutions. So a way how to go about it is to suggest a probable solution. Show that you're thinking about the problem. It doesn't have to be rocket science, nothing too complicated. It is basically to show that you're thinking of ways that could improve the situation. Things to avoid. Avoid listing 4 or 5 or 6 problems in your essay. Remember that for every problem, you have to write down a solution or a suggested solution, something that could help improve this problem. So take your time and think about these carefully. If you write down 1, 2, maximum 3 problems, that should be enough. Some students may think that if they write a lot of problems, then they would maybe, just maybe, earn higher marks. But that is not the case. The essay is likely to end up messy and confusing, and you may even run out of time and won't be able to write down the solutions for each problem that you present. What you should do, pay attention to the question. As I have stated in other videos, it is imperative, it is very important that you understand the title of the essay and that you know what is being asked of you. Make sure that you identify that this is a problem and solution essay. And finally, don't worry. You don't need to come up with the perfect solution if such a thing exists, but you need to be able to explain well how your suggestion can help improve the problem, and that's enough. And on that note, I will be ending my lesson here today. Do practice a lot, read sample essays whenever you can, and believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it, and you will eventually. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again very soon.